Okay, my friend. As the eyes of the world descend, we find ourselves in the massive continent of Alanon, recently transformed and torn asunder after the arrival of the Titans had terraformed it 25 years in the past. This rumbling and change came with also the arrival of the new gods, in place of the old ones who had either fled or died defending the star. But for you, much of this is not known knowledge. As the eyes of the world continue to descend further to the north of Alanon, deep within the Bordean canyons and many of its hidden secrets, you find yourself locked away and hidden from society after being captured as a prisoner of war. As this is the first morning, things change. Within your prison cell, you can hear walking down outside of it, the halls, the echoes of the dungeons, of footsteps of the occult as they push through the sound of a dragging body across the cobblestone. The hard and thick creaking of a rusted jail cell opens next to yours as you hear the sound of a body tossed within it with very little care for their well-being. As you lay there with barely rotted bread inside of your stomach and the worst water of your life, you find yourself hearing the sad sounds of a young man next to your door. As you lift yourself off of the torn and dilapidated floor mat, your visage begins to point through the light. Would you like to describe your character for me?
Yes. What we see here stepping out into the little bits of light that creep through the jail cell bars is an older, battle-hardened, and incredibly weathered-looking man whose hair has grown down to dangle in front of his eyes. This once proud faux hawk that he wore over his head now hangs sort of in shambles around his ice-white skin. His silver hair barely conceals this multitude of scars and deep blue cobalt veins that extend from his eyes, his lips, his brows, and seem to branch in all directions. Capillary veins pushing to the edges of the skin as he stares out through dark, sapphire, yet muted eyes that seem to glow with an incredibly dim light, denoting his age. We see him standing at about 6 feet tall. in an average build, once what was muscular and much more tuned to the ways of battle, has been deteriorated and anguished here in this cell, in this place that has drained him of so much of his willpower. Though he was born of the Lumarian race and far more capable of his magical prowess, he saw that training himself would be his greatest asset if he was to serve his homeland and protect those he's cared about. It was never enough for him, and he always pushed himself. But here we see the remains of what seems to be an old, proud military captain. Now battled and bruised, locked away down here for gods know how long. He's curious as to whoever just wound up in the cell next to him, though, so he's going to peek his head through the jail cell bars to get a good look at him after he's heard the guards leave.
Right. As the footsteps fade into the darkness, you look across. Let's see. Look at your passive here. Passive 14? Okay. As you look across through the barely low-lit tungsten torchlight that kind of denotes the creeping darkness beyond it, you can see across what looks like to be this bright white-haired elven, not a man, but not a child, either. You can see he's wearing this blue coat, and he looks pale white and frosted, almost like yourself. His eyes like gray and shining steel, and at the edges, frozen tears. And you see he just curls up with himself as he tries to warm what little body heat he has left, as if something is physically wrong with him.
Wolf is going to, making sure that nobody's looking, the guards have kind of moseyed off for now, will sort of get their attention with a, "Psst. Who are you?" "I am Wolf."
See as the head looks up. And you see as the head kind of lowers down a bit before you hear the words, "I'm not supposed to give her names. Not to people outside the Pharaoh."
"Then what may I call you?" "A nickname, perhaps? Your hair is white, like a ghost. So tell me, ghost, why have you been brought here?"
I don't know. I really don't know.
"Where are you from?"
from the Fey realm.
Have I met many individuals from the Fey realm?
You are aware of those of the Founding Age, and especially before the First Age. The Fae had left this realm, left Eardsihimmle thousands of years beforehand. And you were also well and aware that your former king was married to an archfey, one of the sisters that ruled the Three Kingdoms there. But he doesn't seemingly give off the same vibe as her. She was more darker skinned, much more sandy blonde hair instead of this pale white. And the outfit doesn't seem to note that of the Court of Seasons, the Court of Night, or the Dawn Kingdom either.
So this is a significant interaction. I haven't met many Fae, and those that I have met have usually been people of high denotion or importance.
Yes.
Okay. And the Fae that was the king's wife, did they have solid colored eyes like this?
You do remember Her Majesty kind of having these kind of like very bright and sunny colored eyes. And it was like watching the sun dance across the sky was what it felt like. But he has very ice cold looking eyes.
Interesting. Well, dinner's in about 4 hours. Try not to eat it too fast. And then they let us out in the yard after that. Don't go near anybody that's wearing black cloaks.
As he looks at you, he tries to get a better look. His kind of the head tilts a bit. You have...
I suppose it is as strange to see me as it is for me to see you.
You have the same kind of eyes as she did, but hers were red.
Who?
The one that stole me.
You were stolen by a Lumarian. That is what we are called. Though I have blue eyes, my kin have red, and usually boast more formidable martial prowess.
Do they also have fangs? Do you also have fangs?
I hold back my my mouth to show my ordinary teeth.
She was different then, but it's Lumarian. Wolf.
Yes, Ghost.
Something tells me you're different.
Well, I'm in here like you are. And I'm not like out there, like she was. So perhaps you and I aren't so different. Tell me, were you taken from your home or from the battlefield?
My home. I was meant to be something important to our kingdom.
And what was that?
Protector.
Well, does your kingdom still stand?
Without me, I'm not sure.
Then you still have a chance to protect it. I look both ways, listening really intently to see if any guards are coming my way. And if there aren't, I'm going to check the walls around me. Are the walls made of stone in here, or is there any earth? Loose earth?
There's just mostly cobblestone and these large, flat plates that have kind of just been made to settle on top of dirt. The rest is basically the bricklap and brick itself, and then these thick iron bars, cold iron.
Okay. Would you say it's loose enough for me to use mold earth on it?
Let's see. Mold earth. Earth. Mold earth. Choose a portion of dirt or stone that you can see within range. Okay, stone. We're already there. Okay. Stone target is on. Yeah. Yeah, you could.
Okay. I'm going to look both ways and then remove this cloth-bound hand that I've been tending to, and you can see the faintest glow of blue life that I have been mustering for years the power to summon, as I am, for the first time in possibly years, casting Mold Earth, and a little bit of the stone parts between our two cells, and I poke my eye through it. Tonight I am escaping. You are welcome to join me, but I will need absolute cooperation if we are to get out of here. I too have people that relied on me, that I need to protect.
You see as the head kind of tilts up. And you see as the head nods.
All right. After we are released back from the yard to our cells, they do a patrol. It takes about 1 hour, and we will have about a 10-minute window between the guard shifts. We will use that as our opportunity to escape. You will do as I say, and you will not deviate, or else it may cost us both our lives. Do you understand, Ghost?
Yes.
Good. Save your strength. Eat well. And I'll call for you when we're ready.
Okay.
All right.
As you lay back, you found the key to your escape today. A willing ally for the first time in ages. As you get called, as the doors open, as these massive dark cloaked figures drag you to your feet and slowly push you both out into this small and dark, kind of just roundish room, the yard. As kind of lining across the entirety of the wall are several of these cultists of the Sharzan, all keeping an eye on their peculiar projects. As you can see for the first time, fully standing is this young man. As he walks around, he gives off this hearty cough that is deep within him, a long-standing sickness. As
this cough is coming from the Fae?
Yes.
Or somebody else? Oh, from the Fae, okay.
Yeah, from Ghost. As he goes to try and catch his breath, you see and hear as a couple of the guards all begin to turn towards one of the major doors here. And you hear as the large creak of the metal door opens, a small file of more of these cultists come out before you see the arrival of two individuals. The first, you see a cloaked one with what looks like to be a few strands of loose white hair and the smile of these almost vampiric fangs under the lips. And next to her is, as opulent as they come, a man wearing the purest white as driven snow suit with this kind of black opal bolo tie and a way too big 10-gallon hat that kind of just pushes down forward so that way you can't even see his eyes. You have known this individual a couple of times as he has made his rounds here within this dungeon on many different occasions. This is the Baron. And you are well known to his antics as he kind of just points towards every one of the prisoners as well as many of the members of the Sharzan as they give their attention to him. Ladies and gentlemen, it seems like we have ourselves a new guest. I would hope all of you would treat him with such kindness as he is a special type of royalty. And since all of you understand the notion of royalty standing before you, I would hope that you treat him with the most mildest of respect.
Do I clock any of the other... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Now, while as you all get well and acquainted with one another for whatever short time you may have here, I would also like to introduce you to my close ally and friend, And hopefully you will all treat her with the same measure of dignity, whilst you lower your heads within her presence. This here is my close ally, Jillian Ravensborough. As she goes and pulls back the hood, you see the blinding red starry eyes, the now silvered white hair that kind of is pulled back into a tight bun. As she begins to look and inspect everyone, and then her eyes trail on you.
I hold her gaze.
Before you see as she kind of steps forward, kind of dictating aside many of the cultists. And she comes much shorter than you, but you can tell she is healthy and strong. Her very presence before you is sickening based off how much power she exudes. Do I know you somewhere, Lumarian?
Can't say that I know anybody here.
See as she quickly grabs the bottom of your jaw and kind of just turns your head left and right. It is like being puppeted like a rag doll.
I don't resist. I resist slightly, but because I don't like being touched, but if she's examining me, I'm not going to hold back in front of the Baron.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold back in front of the Baron.
Yeah. As she gets this really close eye at you. I remember something of your face. But it's changed so dramatically based off of what the Baron has done to you yet. What's your name?
I am Wolf. That is what everyone here calls me. You may do the same. What is your name? I would be honored to know it.
She looks back at the Baron, who obviously announced her name earlier, before riding the head back to you.
Ravensborough.
Yes. Tell me, were you there for the fall, or were you there for the rise?
Hard to recall. Rivers of blood all bleed together.
Oh, so you were one of those. We have use for you yet.
Where were you?
Banished by our king for doing humanity a favor. And then when they turned on me and my loved ones, we did what we always do as Lumarians. We proved why we were superior over others.
By bastardizing magic. I'm deep knowing glare.
Luminari. 5,000 years. This is all you've been reduced to. A shame. As she drops you straight down onto the ground. Baron, I like to make sure that this one's caged up nice and tight. He might seem like a feeble old man, but do not let that deceive you. And as she goes and bends down next to your ear, I want you to know that Haley is dead.
My heart skips several beats.
As she backs up, she just leaves with a smile on her face. That'll be all, Baron. For finally waving away, and you see as the door shuts, along with what looks like to be a small entourage of other cultists to follow.
Really quickly, as she's heading out the door, does she have any, loose effects of clothing? Or is it, all tight armor, something I could pluck off of her?
Let's see. You're gonna have to have a really solid sleight of hand, buddy, but let me see what I can do for you.
It's telekinetic, so it's no gestures, no somatic. It's just my mind doing it. Yeah, I've made hand with the telekinetic feat.
Oh, okay. Okay. As you get dropped to the ground, as she goes to turn around, as the wave of the cloak, you can see kind of just dangling off to the side what looks like to be a small set of these beads with a kind of blood red ruby hanging at the bottom of it.
I pluck that ruby off with my mage hand.
I'm going to make a perception check. This is so fun. Opening session. Okay.
Hey! Do I need to roll sleight of hand or anything?
She doesn't notice, but as the cloak waved away, you just, with an open palm, you just barely pluck it away, and it detaches from the belt side before it enters your hand, and you hold it tight.
Mm-hmm.
Before kind of just slipping it into your belt. And you see as Ghost comes over to you and kind of just lifts you up. You okay?
Thanks, Ghost. Yeah, I've had worse. And I look around really quick now, taking a moment to see if anybody's clocking Ghost, in particular, any inmates or other experiments I need to keep an eye out for.
You can definitely see some of the other experiments were kind of shocked to see this person who probably doesn't even know the rules around here, but you notice as a couple of the guards come over, and as one kind of shoves him off, no touching each other. Period. Got that, newbie? And you see as the Baron looks around, well. It looks like everything is right back to normal. Now, Wolf, it seemed like the lovely lady liked your presence. Care to share the story as to why?
Just a moment. Yeah, I'm gonna try and Wolf just kind of gives him a worried glance. I'd rather not discuss it.
Then I suppose...
Dear Baron.
Go ahead.
If you must know, she slew my fellow soldiers in battle. I'm just lying through my teeth. Some sob story.
Yeah. Make me a deception check.
Twelve.
He kind of passively accepts it as what it is. Oh, poor Wolf out there, all alone, losing his entire platoon. I do feel bad for you every now and again. I hope you understand that.
You have the utmost grace and kindness in your heart, dear Baron. I've been smoozing this guy over for years. Been doing my best to stay on his good side because I see what happens to the people that get on his bad side. So I lay it on a little thick, and then I back off and let it go.
Doing so earns you an extra loaf of bread tonight.
Ooh! Hope it's not moldy. It's okay if it is.
As the end of your time finishes, you find yourself back within your cell, across from Ghost. As the last guard leaves, those 10 minutes open right now.
I do a quick scan back and forth, and then I walk up to the wall between me and Ghost's cell, and I use mold earth to create a narrow passage through there, and I wave him through to my side. Quickly now, we don't have much time.
See, as he crawls through, you hear a faint rip from the coat that he was wearing earlier as it kind of tears at the bottom. Okay.
I look down to see if he, if there's any effects left over from either of us. I have wrapped up and bandaged anything because I know that magic is good enough to track people these days. That's why I used it to snatch that ruby from our Crimson Lumarian friends. So I just go double over my effects. Did anything get torn off of him as he passed through that tunnel?
No, nothing. It's just the coat is ruined now. Seems
okay.
A lot nicer.
I sealed the tunnel back up with.
Yeah.
That's okay. We're not getting out of here looking nice.
Yeah. As you kind of
want
just
to look nice when we get out of here too.
Yeah. As you place your hands onto the wall, almost as if you were physically molding the earth as you begin to shut it back with your hands. All right, what's next?
All right. this part gets a little loud. And I turn and I start molding earth at a larger scale as I turn to the back wall underneath the cell iron wrought bars, where the wall is much thicker. And I know this part is what's going to cause quite a bit of noise, which is why we need this 10-minute window. So as I'm holding the earth, it's spilling out into the cell around me. And hopefully it's not causing too much noise, but I just do it as quick as possible, creating this tunnel that leads out through maybe this 5-foot thick just cobblestone wall.
Yeah.
And this leads to a side passage that I've mapped out. And through here, we have to get through like a kitchen area. So as soon as we get this tunnel, I look into the hall, down to the kitchen, and I look both ways to make sure nobody's coming before I start trying to reseal the wall behind me.
Okay. And as you do, you double check and see nobody's here just yet. As you see as Ghost goes through, you suddenly feel a massive headache come barreling through. As it feels like a nail going through your head. Before finally having to clear yourself because it's just this thing that they've done to you thus far. As you try and push the wool back together, it is done in such a shoddy fashion, but at this point, in the dark, who would care?
I feel like carpal tunnel creeping into my arm. It's definitely taken a lot out of me to just even cast cantrips now.
Yeah.
But getting that wall resealed, we head down the hallway, and now that dinner is over and we've had some time, they're usually done and they usually retire to their quarters for alcohol and stuff at this time. The guards do, so the kitchen should be empty. And I usher Ghost and I through there, as long as it's empty, to the main lavatory and refuse chute.
Alright. And as you go to cross the kitchen, you hear the faint clattering of metal dropping on the ground.
I halt immediately and look around.
As you go to look around, you see kind of a smaller and equally cloaked individual. Probably that of a gnomish, dwarvish background.
Does it look like a cultist?
It does.
Like somebody who works here?
Yep.
Are there any kitchen knives, like, laying on any counters anywhere?
Tons. This was
All
where
right.
people were cooking about an hour ago.
Okay, I look at the biggest, sharpest one any large steak knife would do, and I just point at it and flick in the gnome's direction as I cast Catapult on the steak knife.
Okay.
And launch it directly at the gnome's chest.
Okay, go ahead.
So, gnome has to make me a dex save of 15.
Okay. I'm just going to do this quietly on my end. No. No. As
all right,
you just barely with the catapult just flick your finger as a long 12-inch chef's knife gets bolted across the room and just right into the side of the head as they just crumple and die.
All right. I grab 2 more steak knives and hand one to Ghost. And I hold a finger to my lips. Shh, quickly.
Right.
And I lead us to the main refuge chute, which is a horrible, stinky-ass slide that leads to, I assume, an underground waterway or sewer line wherever they send all their refuse out here in the mountain. The plan was to get down there and crawl our way out. Because I know that there was an off-pour. There was mention of an off-pour I heard 5 years ago into a lake somewhere. So this has been my plan. Is to slide down this chute, get out into the lake, and figure out where the hell I am.
All right. And with a measure of confidence, you both take the plunge as you both jump. And as you go to slide down, it is like a tunnel of infinity, of darkness, of uncertainty. Every slide, every turn, every twist, before finally, as you begin to reach towards what looks like to be the end, you feel this shift in change of the air go from this moldy and stagnant air to something slightly fresh. But before you could even do so, as you get launched, you notice that by the time you are out of this chute, there is you and a 1,000-foot drop before water. As
oh boy,
you begin to fall, you notice that as Ghost goes diving for you, and as he says something in this Sylvan language, some kind of prayer, as he beckons to something, you're both encased in this light amount of ice, as you both torpedo down into the water as it breaks apart and the ice shatters out from both of you as you make your landing into this aquifer, for feeling more of a rush as water begins to flow in a longwise direction. You both are barely conscious. As the flow begins to become rapid, your strength leaves you both, as it is nigh impossible to fight the rush of water, as you are then pulled further out, as you have no idea the bearings of your senses before finally another break, as you find yourself quickly losing consciousness, and everything goes to black. Here. You feel yourself being dragged. The sound of sand, the sound of wet and water, your body cold. And you feel suddenly not a violent cold, but rather a soothing and aloe to the soul. As you blink your eyes open and you can see through vicious coughs as magic is being left by the hands of this young Fey man as he just pushes 2 points of healing into you.
Whoa.
Lay on hands.
Paladin friend.
You can see once he stops, he kind of folds over and begins coughing even more violently, just trying to catch his breath.
I check on him really quickly. I am not proficient in medicine, but I have an ability, quick learner. I can start every dawn and choose a skill I'm not proficient in and become proficient in it. And some sort of ancient magic deep in my Lumarian bloodline kicks in as I go to examine him and his coughing. I'll try a medicine check. That's okay.
With your passive medicine check now. Let's see. Please excuse me as I pull out this. There we go.
Passive would be 14.
This would be 14, okay. You can tell as you try to put your hand on his back, he is ice cold to the touch. This is not a part of his affliction, but you can tell based off of his body shape, his overall health, he was probably a sickly boy his entire life. And using magic kind of spurs that sickness a bit.
Come, let's find someplace dry. And I'll try to get us a little out of the open to a small clearing. I'll use mold earth to make this little impression in the ground and create these small 5-foot high walls in a matter of like a minute or two to sort of give us like this tiny little half igloo enclosure of dirt. And then I cast create bonfire with the last straining bit of magic that I can feel for this day, as I'm just exhausted and my fingertips are starting to turn blue, to just give us a fire and try to get him warm.
As he settles into the warmth, you can hear him say thank you, just very weakly.
Thank you. I don't know if I would have woken up without your help. You've always been this sick.
I've always been the weak one in my family. My father and my sister were so much stronger. And you can see that there's something shameful about his presence here. As if he feels like he shouldn't be here yet.
Oh boy. Wolf has definitely been dealing with shame himself and would feel conflicted in this moment, as he feels great shame in being a prisoner of war all these years. All this time, he doesn't know how long it's been, but going from a proud captain of the field reduced to someone begging for moldy bread. he feels like it would be insincere to speak of pride in a moment like this. But he still rests a hand on on Ghost's shoulder and thinks of a different time. When I was told that I would never be able to carry the path and walk alongside my kin because of the color of my eyes and because of the circumstances of my birth. It changed me that day, and I made an effort to become something that I wanted, regardless of who I was destined to be. Take heart, Ghost. Just because you're not good at one thing doesn't mean you can't be fantastic at another. I'll tend to the fire a little bit.
I have a path. A heading, maybe. I don't know where to go just yet, but I'm gonna find out. Why was I taken? Why did they stop me? There are too many questions and not enough answers. You see his head kind of lifts up a bit. I don't know if our paths will be the same.
Maybe today, not.
But for today, I thank you for being my friend.
I thank you for being mine. And fellow escape artists, you're not half bad at that.
As you see as his hand extends out before pulling it back, realizing this curse of his. He extends a single finger out. Helpler. My name is Helpler.
Helpler. It's a pleasure to meet you. I am Beowulf Dustermund.
And
I clasp his hand. In our
more his finger because he doesn't want to
exchange.
Yeah, or the finger.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he doesn't want to freeze your entire hand.
Mm-hmm. For our first truthful exchange of names.
I don't want them catching both of us. I'll head out first thing in the morning.
Aye. We'll tend to the fire so you can warm up a bit. And leave after you. Take care, Ghost.
You as well, Wolf. And as the rest of the night passes, true to his word, upon your awakening, you find a missing Helpler, probably merely only needing to tend to a trance. You notice that this foxhole that you've created is no longer trying to pull itself down in temperature, but finally warm and probably to a point a little too hot before needing to open the whole thing. As daylight comes around, you hear the sound of a pair of footsteps as they come towards you. As they break leaves and snap twigs, they are purposely making their presence known.
Have I already been spotted?
Oh yes, probably long ago.
Okay. Shoot.
You have had a long rest, just so you are aware.
Okay. Who do I see approaching?
You see a tall young man wearing a pair of round spectacles, much like these, but definitely opaque in design. Long black hair that kind of just comes down on each side. What looks like to be a strange black military outfit of no accordance to any colors of any nation you're aware of. With gold trimmings and buttons. On the side of him is this large spell book, and crawling across his shoulders what looks like to be this tiny smoky cat-like familiar with a gold and silver eye. Before looking down at you. Good morrow, soldier. Sleeping amongst the dirt as one would expect,
Do I recognize this individual?
You have no idea who this is, but he seems to act way too familiar for your own liking.
I don't know you, stranger. Best scurry off now before you confuse me with somebody more dangerous.
Oh, please. You could barely hold up a knife, let alone try and cast a spell from those fingers. But then again... Mayhaps... This is where the story begins, at least for you.
Who are you?
You can call me Zaki. I am a observer, to say the least. But, if for those of less understanding, one might find that I am useful as other people's wit.
What would you have with me?
I just came here because I heard that there was a little bit of trouble deep within the Bordean Canyons, and I like to keep an eye on things. As you see as the black cat's eyes open, you can see that almost an entire forest of cats, as their eyes, gold and silver, look out towards you. And there you are. A mysterious Lumarian stranger, having beaten the effects of ceramorphosis and living to tell the tale after the escape of a rather obscure force. Now, for a man such as you on your luck, I imagine you might want to seek some refuge or benefit.
What was that word you used?
Ceramorphosis?
Morphosis. Ceramorph.
Yes.
What does that mean?
As you see, as he gets down, he kind of just looks at you, this kind of almost Russian squat. You were experimented on with those of the illithid ilk. And a nasty effect has come from it. But, quite luckily, you more than likely not see the terrifying end of those who get transformed to such horrifying creatures. But something does tell me you might be of use yet.
Am I familiar with illithids?
No. Not at all.
Okay, so I have no idea what he's talking about.
All
I
right.
mean, the cultists in the mountains, they experimented on me. They changed me.
Right. And that is quite a bit of a problem. Let's see. I know what you should do. As you see, as he stands up and kind of just walks around, kind of a bit parade-like, before finally turning back at you. You have a task, at least at hand, and I think I might know who might be able to help you. But only if you want that help. If you don't want it, then I will clearly just go fuck myself, you know?
I seek to burn the cultists and their liege to the ground. The Baron must die for what he concocts in those mountains.
You think that's the
As
only
do
thing he
any
does?
Lumarian traitors to the crown.
You think that's the only thing he does?
It's the only reason I need to kill him.
Okay. Well, it seems like our goals have aligned, at the very least. I'm not a fan of the cultists either, but unfortunately, due to some frustrating restrictions, I can't go out and do it myself. So, I hear there is an individual from Ordofheim that is looking for a group of skilled individuals, and certainly I'm sure once you've returned to your more prominent strength, you'll be a very useful asset to me yet. Do so, and I might be able to help you with whatever it is you want.
I do have a question then. The way they changed me in those mines, the way they poked me and prodded me, and filled my head with strange thoughts and strange magics that altered my brain. Who I am. Can these be undone? Can I be who I once was again? My only goal is to return and restore my honor upon the field and serve my king and country.
Who is your king?
Who was the king I was serving under at that
You
time?
were under the service that of Lord Canis Metilius, who had usurped the throne of his brother back 50 years ago, which led you to you going out into the field, which led to capture, which led to today.
Gotcha. So I respond to him almost dumbstruck that he would question such a thing. By His Royal Highness King Canis, the great Metilius, who serves in the name of our god, who all Lumarians hold high.
Oh my. Much has changed, unfortunately. But you want to know
What
what?
do you mean?
Well, let's start with this. Lord Canis is no longer Lord Canis, but rather he is Lord over Dracovania. And what was your old king is now your current king. Quite a funny turn of events of things have happened in these past 25 years, I'll tell you that.
No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't deal with his brother after that.
You'll be surprised, but I'll tell you what. You assist me with the Order of the Sharzen, I'll put in a good word for you. And then maybe, just maybe, we might be able to fix what has happened to you.
Very well. For me, shut down this cult. Shut down this insanity. That Canis Metilius would be ejected from the throne. For his bastard brother to rain havoc and destruction upon our country once again. Our proud Lumarian country.
Well,
One that took my very mother and daughter from me. My wife. All of them.
I will say, though, Roya has changed quite dramatically. Not as much of a dark god as he was once perceived to be so long ago, but Lumaria has changed also quite deeply. The world has changed deeply. There's much that you don't know, and I am sure much that you will come to learn. But, like I said, I think the task at hand is a little bit more important. So, there is a man in the city known as Karimorth. Quite new, well built, and is considered a humble place for those of the magically inclined. A magetocracy, if you will. Seek out a man known as Vance Knight, and hopefully he might be able to assist you on your very long and arduous journey.
Very well. I will seek out this Vance Knight. Is he to aid me in bringing back our true king?
Very good.
Or is he to assist me in slaying this cult from the earth?
That we will have to see about. The first thing you do once you manage your way into this guild, I would recommend opening up a history book. But I am of little time, and I am a very, very busy man. As he goes and pulls open his book, as the pages flow, he pulls something out of the book. This kind of large, silvery steel ball with etchings of divination for direction. This is called a Mercurial Atlas. As he takes it and he tosses it at you.
I catch it with my mage hand. Slowly bring it to me.
It will be useful once you get into the city. But for now, as he turns around and he points to the massive tower off in the distance to the city of Karimorth. I'll see you around, Beowulf. And welcome to the Age of Exodus. For finally, you see as his form begins to slink away into the shadows as you see those tiny little cats, his little familiars, look at you before finally kind of scoffing away and dancing into the distance.
I look down curiously at the Mercurial Atlas for a moment. Usually, Beowulf has been incredibly superstitious. I mean, his whole life he's been raised in service of his god Raya, the father of Lumarians, and has... Roya.
Yeah.
Thank you. Roya, and has often seen individuals, items, things that come to him as not just great chance, but direct intervention by Roya. though he's been hesitant before of shading individuals in the past, Zeki seems different. And it feels kind of like one of those little tickles he gets in the back of his brain that tell him this is meant to be crossing paths with his. So he'll humor Zeki's request for now. Maybe this is supposed to happen this way.
Go ahead and send you the item there.
Thank you.
And as you find yourself traveling through the lands of Alanon for the first time in 50 years, you do note that everything has changed. The earth is different. The forest, there's new mountains, there's new ranges. That once great plain that had existed before is now left behind this massive brand new city. The old city of Stolth has now sunken into the sands and ruled by dwarves. You see that there is now this massive towering lighthouse, per se, in the south end of the Bourdain Canyons that sealed shut but kind of made a place that people just come to stop and trade and do things. Here you find yourself doing a little bit of work before being able to have clothes to wear and equipment to kind of hide a lot of the aspects of yourself in a way, as well as a couple of weapons that you managed to pull off of a caravan or two. And finally, after several weeks of travel, you enter within this massive city of Carrimorath, where you see people from all walks of life. The architecture here is magical by design. As you cross roads and streets, you see the massive flows of rivers that have been created out of the huge lake that was filled by leftover aquifers since the arrival of what you've heard as the Earthraiser. And that massive beaming tower in the center almost scrapes the very sky. A city built here in less than 25 years. The might of mages is fantastic. After inquiring a little bit about this Vance Knight, not too much is given to you aside from a few passing individuals who kind of wear these dark gray robes with excuse me, as I pull this out. These dark gray robes with what looks like to have these woven-like designs with hammers and tongs. These are forge masters, those who help develop the infrastructure of the city and make sure that the seal for the dungeon beneath this land remains sealed. As you get a bit of information that a guild kind of regarding this individual who is arriving in the city is to the southwest, you make a beeline there before finding yourself at this massive building, this guild house, where you see magical technology kind of just dangling everywhere. The large runic seals with these deep blue glows and off to the side, you see what looks like to be this strange device, probably built to be ridden by a couple of humanoid creatures. You've seen them kind of flying around town, but like to see it up close is strange. This is new. Before finally entering in, you hear the sounds of a couple of voices before you notice a bright orange haired man with a goatee, one with kind of this missing eye and covered by this mechanical glass piece, and this long robotic arm all on his left side as his head turns. I wasn't expecting any other guests. Hold on, everybody. I'll be right back. Before coming over towards you, are you from the tower? You don't really.
I was sent here to ask for a one Vance night.
Oh, that's me. Hi. How can I help?
My name is Wolf. Zeki sends his regards.
I don't know a Zeki.
Well, I was told that you could assist me.
Well, yeah. How can I help?
So this guy, from what I'm gathering, is a smithy?
He seems to be some kind of artificer, somebody that really professionalizes in magical technology, especially in this place. Fresh, new, and everything's kind of just in a very proper place.
And that was all I really got from Zeki, was that this guy could help me somehow, but he wasn't specific about it.
You also hear that this man is looking to build out a guild.
Okay, I was sent here to help him.
Yes.
Build out the guild, okay. Well, my friend sent me and told me that, well, perhaps we could help each other. You see, I am an older retired military officer and have much experience with the particulars with organization. And I hear that you're looking to expand your guild. I would like to lend my services. Perhaps we could help each other. I'm in need of equipment for some arduous journeys I need to take in the near future.
Seems that might actually be to our benefit. I mean, 5 people is great, but as he kind of just like looks back, he kind of thinks it over a bit. None of them, I think, would have any military experience. Look like they just came out of the academy, too. Okay. Wolf, right?
Yes, you may call me Wolf.
Then I will then be more than happy to assist you with whatever it is you need, and I have full intent to start making missions, and we're going to get orders from the tower. I have personal goals. I'm researching into the Lost Age and a bit further into that, and I'm also looking into witch oil research, and I got plenty of people here who are kind of on the same page. So, heck, why not? Somebody with military experience would definitely be extremely useful, especially for, well, a bunch of, well, youngins.
I look forward to lending my expertise where I can. And I will quietly note to myself his mention of witch oil research.
Okay. And as he then politely directs you towards the foyer room, as you push open the door, you can see several individuals who have already arrived. The first, what looks like to be this tall, orcish lady with dark hair kind of splaying out in this, like, wolf cut. Next to her are what looks like to be two fire genasi individuals with flame-like hair, one with massive curls that kind of crawl down her back, and the other one kind of just swooshed off to the side. They're both of their eyes kind of like fire, but one a little bit more pink than the other. Next to them, what looks like to also be a massive man with bright orange hair that kind of has this long braid down the side, a massive fur cloak that kind of just mantles on top of just the shoulders, and a huge broadsword on his back. And then next to him is kind of this small, scoffing little elf woman with bright hair and pale skin, kind of the same as Ghost. And before...
Interesting motley crew.
Yeah. And before anything, as all of them turn towards you, the eldest in terms of visage, definitely, considering one is elven.
Mm-hmm.
You find a direction to the purpose of your mission. It might take some time, but who knows where fate takes you next. And I think with that is where we're going to go ahead and end today's session.
Woohoo!
Yeah!